While the Ghana Empire was gradually declining, the Soninke people who left its cities helped found several smaller kingdoms. The small Soninke states of Kaniaga, Diara, and Mema rose to the south of Ghana. The savanna lands there were closer to the upper Niger River and its tributaries and had a less harsh climate. Subscribe on Tarihi channel for more interesting and educative videos on African history. 12th century, some of the kings of these small states were Muslims, but most of the populations continued to practice the polytheistic religion of their ancestors. One of the strongest of these states was Susu. It was ruled through a powerful family of blacksmiths with the family name Kante. A blacksmith is someone who works with iron. The traditional priests of many Mande people have usually been blacksmiths because they knew the secrets of how to use fire to turn raw iron ore into tools and weapons that were essential for daily life. By the late 12th century, Susu had expanded into neighboring regions and extended its authority over parts of the old Ghana Empire. The kingdom was centered in a region that is now called Belodogo. It is northeast of Bamako, the capital of today's Republic of Mali. The local people identify their communities with ancient Susu, and in fact, there is even a village in this locality named Susu. According to historians, most of the information about the Susu kingdom comes from Mande oral tradition and cannot be confirmed by independent sources. There is no material evidence to support this oral tradition because no archaeological excavations have been done in the region, but the existence of the Susu kingdom is confirmed by Arab geography. Ibn Khaldun, who was born in Tunis and died in Cairo, never traveled south of the Sahara himself, but while he was in Cairo, he interviewed people from the Mali Empire. From them, he learned that Susu was the most powerful of the new kingdoms and that it had taken over some of the territories of the old Ghana Empire. According to Mande oral tradition, the Susu ruler early in the 13th century was Sumanguru Kante. He was described as a great sorcerer and a ruthless conqueror. Just to the south of Susu, in the land of Mandin, there were many small chiefdoms of the Mande people on both banks of the Niger River. These chiefdoms were basically independent, although they shared cultural institutions, traded with one another, and married people from different chiefdoms. At the beginning of the 13th century, Sumanguru expanded his territory southwards. He conquered the Mande chiefdoms and added them to his Susu empire. The Mande people's own story about the origin of the Mali Empire is usually known as the Sundiata epic. It was named for Sundiata Keita, who is credited as the founder of the Mali Empire. The story begins sometime around the beginning of the 13th century in Farakoro, which was a Mande chiefdom. Farakoro was near the gold fields of Bore. These gold fields had been one of the main sources of gold for Ghana in the earlier centuries, and they became important for the Mali Empire too. The chief of Farakoro was Magan Konfara. Magan means chief, and Konfara was the town he lived in. Like all chiefs and kings of his day, Magan Konfara had diviners, whose job it was to predict the future. One day, the diviners told Magan Konfara that he would be a father of a great hero, but the woman who would be the hero's mother had not yet been found, and not among his wives. Magan Konfara already had many other wives, but he had to search for a new wife, the special woman who would give birth to the hero. So as the story goes, after a long search for this special woman, she was found and located in the kingdom of Donikiri. Her name was Sogolon Kunde and was the sister of the Mansa or king of Donikiri. Sogolon was said to be an ugly, hunchbacked woman, but she had frightening powers as a sorceress and was recognized as the woman who was destined to give birth to this great hero. She was brought to Farakoro and married Magan Konfara. Magan's other wives were jealous of the diviner's prediction and did everything they could to stop Sogolon from giving birth to the hero. After several years of trouble, Sogolon had the baby, but the child was born crippled. He was called Sogolon's Jara, where Jara means lion, which was shortened to be Sundiata. It took years for Sundiata to learn to walk, and when he finally did, he became a great fighter and hunter. One of Magan's wives had a son who was older than Sundiata, and knowing about the fetish priest's prediction of Sundiata being a great hero one day, she conspired to have him murdered. Sogolon then took him and her other children away to protect them. They stopped in various chiefdoms along the way. Eventually, they traveled southeast to the lands beyond Timbuktu and settled in an old Soninke kingdom called Mema. While Sogolon and her children were gone, the Mande chiefdoms were conquered by the army of Susu, which was led by its powerful king. chieftain Sumanguru Kante. The Mande people suffered for a long time under the harsh rule of Sumanguru. Then they remembered that many years earlier, the fetish priest had predicted that Sogolon would give birth to a great hero. They did not know where Sogolon and her children had gone, but they sent out a search party that eventually found them. Sogolon had died in Mema, but her children, who were now adults, returned to Mande. Sundiata organized the soldiers of all the Mande chiefdoms into a powerful army. They went to war against Susu. After a series of battles, Sundiata's army defeated Sumanguru and the army of Susu. The unified Mande chiefdoms formed the basis of a powerful kingdom. It expanded into all the neighboring territories and became the Mali Empire. The Mande oral traditions do not give dates for the events they describe, but based on what was written by Arab geographers, it appears that Susu was defeated somewhere in the 1230s.